Here's your wake-up call for anyone who has ears to take heed. Young people on spring break often get intoxicated and become very easy targets no matter where they are celebrating spring break, at home or abroad. But in Mexico, you have to worry about express kidnappings, drink spiking, poisoned alcohol, street crime, and cartel violence. This is the reality, kids. Hello and welcome back to our Retire Early lifestyle. This very important information we're providing for you today is a wake-up call to young people and those that love them. Are the crime risks real when you leave your own country? We think so. Absolutely yes. Why? Because Americans have a stigma attached to them of being rich, and that stigma makes us a target from the get-go, and that goes for young people as well. The way most young people celebrate spring break is already dangerous. Then you're going to replicate that behavior in a foreign country? No. Terrible idea. Having wild parties for 4 days straight during the wee hours of the morning is reckless and irresponsible behavior already, without the added dimension of being in a foreign place. The illusion is the glossy travel ads making Puerto Vallarta, Cartagena, and Barcelona the perfect beachy place to go party it up with your friends for spring break. Let's start with Mexico. There are a few realities that we need to think about first before traipsing off to a foreign country without a care in the world. New U.S. spring break travel warning for Mexico. Crime and kidnapping risks remain. And the reality check is, spring break has barely got off the ground and we're already seeing mucho chaos, arrests, and young disappearances from this earth. The truth is, Mexico is no longer the party place for young people that it used to be. It's a target the rich tourist environment, just waiting for some inebriated, naive young foreigner to be taken advantage of. And there's a lot of those during spring break. Your sons and daughters are in danger and taking big risks in Mexico. Most of Mexico is unsafe for sober people, let alone any other kind. There have been numerous travel warnings from the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. You would be smart to take these warnings into consideration. And for those promoters that are glamming up Mexico as safe for young, naive people to travel to for spring break, they're no different than the Rams we talk about and are in the same boat of a highly irresponsible group that are just looking at the money. This is truly what corrupt vested interests do. They report that unsafe countries are safe countries, okay? Here's just some of that fluff and hype by the vested interests. This first one here wants everybody to know that Mexico's drinking age is 18 and not 21. Did I say the vested interests don't care about you? Spring break in Mexico 2026, all these dates, destinations, budgets, and tips. Here's your wake-up call for anyone who has ears to take heed. Young people on spring break often get intoxicated and become very easy targets no matter where they are celebrating spring break, at home or abroad. But in Mexico, you have to worry about express kidnappings, drink spiking, poisoned alcohol, street crime, and cartel violence. This is the reality, kids. Lately in the news, we're seeing dozens of Canadian people becoming greatly sickened from eating in the buffets in some of the 5-star rated resorts. This is not a one-off thing either. It happens a lot. Some people get so sick, they disappear from this life. Dozens of Canadian tourists sick after returning from Mexico. It was a nightmare. Canadians report severe illness. Dozens of Canadians got sick at Mexican all-inclusive resorts. And so at the age of 20, we think we know so much and we only figure out how much we really didn't know as we age, if we make it. Or if someone older and more experienced knocks some sense into us. Hopefully this video will do that for some of them. Not to mention, and I don't know if parents know this, but the brain is still forming in a 20-year-old. Parents, did you know that? Why young people take more risks. Development of the prefrontal cortex, this area of the brain responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and evaluating consequences, is not fully developed until the mid-20s. As a result, young individuals may engage in riskier behaviors without fully considering the potential outcomes. So while the vested interests are baiting your sons and daughters to travel to these dangerous foreign countries, your adult kids are more prone to take risks and be impulsive and do things that maybe they shouldn't do. We all know what it was like when we were 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, right? Okay. This is where that bait and switch comes in that is often talked about on this channel. The switch is everything is not as wonderful as we were told in the promotions. Even the tourist zones in Mexico have seen an uptick in street crime and cartel violence. It's risky for young people who just want to go have some fun. Chances are they will get taken advantage of if the opportunity arises, meaning being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Then there's Cartagena, Colombia. This is the new place where the promoters have now been enticing the young crowds to vacation for their spring break. Does this sound like a place where a young person should be going for spring break? Overview of Cartagena, cartels and trafficking. Cartagena is a major port city in Colombia. It has been significantly affected by trafficking activities. There are various criminal organizations, including local gangs and larger cartels that compete for control over the routes. And the violence and the crime rates have increased significantly. Now, we highly encourage young people to reconsider going abroad to a foreign country. This is not the 1970s and 80s when buying a joint off of John Doe walking down the street outside of school was the thing. These days, meeting up in these foreign places at nightclubs carries its own set of additional risks, such as, well, it would be extremely, and we mean extremely dangerous for young people to engage with local cartel dealers that are often connected to more dangerous criminals and organizations. But this scenario could easily happen in Colombia, Mexico, or Spain. And that brings me to Barcelona, Spain, and the recent body found of a young man in the waters there. Apparently, this young man, just 20 years old, with his cognitive functions still forming, jetted off to Barcelona for spring break with his fraternity friends. Yes, your cognitive functions continue to develop in 20-year-olds, particularly in areas like decision-making and emotional regulation as the brain matures and strengthens connections, and most structural brain growth wraps up in the mid to late 20s. Unfortunately, James Gracie, while on his spring break trip to Barcelona, ended up tragically disappeared from this life. It's a very sad and tragic situation, and we cannot fathom what the family must be going through at this time, and we want to extend our condolences to them at this unfortunate time. Let's look at the timeline and see what we know so far. The reports state Anne was captured on surveillance footage that the young man came out of a popular nightclub with a stranger at 3 a.m. He was at the bar with his fraternity friends but left them to go somewhere with a stranger. That's the cognitive function at work in a 20-year-old. So the decision to leave his friends was the critical thinking point, and it should not have happened. This also proves that the buddy system, no matter how much promoters love to say to the females, "Oh, just get a friend to go abroad with you and you'll be safe," doesn't always work. The report also states that James was wearing a gold rhinestone cross chain. Now remember what we've said in past videos. It doesn't matter if a piece of jewelry is real or fake, because the thief doesn't know the difference until he inspects it. The cost of a gold rhinestone cross chain made of real gold can vary widely. typically ranging from around $100 to several $1,000s depending on the gold carat. But this young man is wearing his necklace in every single photo I've seen of him. Here's a close-up I got of it. And so that tells me it means a lot to him. Probably got it for a birthday present from his mom and dad or something. And it's a real gold chain worth hundreds of dollars depending on the carat of the gold. Here are the estimated prices of this type of gold necklace if anyone is interested. Are we saying James may have been a victim of robbery gone bad? Well, it's a possibility, but we just don't know yet. Somehow this young man ended up being in the wrong place at the wrong time. There are always consequences for the choices we make in life, and going to a foreign country and carousing in the wee hours of the night at the young age of 20 is a choice with a particular set of potential consequences. Here is the area where he was last seen and disappeared into the early morning hours at that Chaco nightclub right there. Another report stated that the area of this nightclub is a crime-ridden part of the city of Barcelona as well, so it all is a bit suspicious if you ask us. The thing is, the mother reported in a news report that he got his cell phone stolen earlier, and they found his phone and arrested the thief, which we also find kind of suspicious. They said that they talked with him and he had no involvement in the case. So they are reporting nothing, no details, nothing substantial at this time, so we're not going to keep talking about it. This case does need to be solved, however. Perhaps he just took a midnight swim and the current took him further out into the ocean. It does happen. You know, fighting against an ocean current when you're intoxicated and you're panicking is going to tire you out. So is this what happened? At this point, it's hard to say what happened to this young man. We just know it is really unfortunate that this happened, and we hope it doesn't happen to any other young people. But this should raise alarm bells for parents. We think parents should encourage their young adults to stay in their home country for spring break. But really, the best thing is to celebrate the spring break occasion without drinking and partying and reveling. It's really a bad habit to think that the only way to have fun is to party it up for a week. We only mentioned these 3 countries in this video, but we think any country should be something to reconsider, especially for young people that are more impressionable, vulnerable, and impulsive thinkers and, well, risk takers. Let me say something really important to all of the young people that might be watching this right now. Alcohol is a destroyer of the mind, body, and soul. I know this firsthand. It doesn't discriminate. It takes whoever wants to surrender to it, and many people have lost their money, jobs, careers, marriages, children, friends, relationships, health, and even their life because of alcohol-related circumstances. Have you ever watched the movie The Body Snatchers? Well, that's exactly what alcohol addiction does to the body. It snatches you right up and takes control of the person who is a heavy drinker or even binge drinker. It is an insidious illness. The best action is to remain abstinent so you never have to worry about these things in your life. You will be a better person for it. And our sobering reminder to round out this report is a week of fun isn't worth a lifetime of trauma or a massive hospital bill or anything. So take care, everyone, and bye-bye.